Good morning, students. I hope all of you are safe. Today we are going to start a new chapter, Things Around Us. So let's begin. Now, students, you must have studied about living and non-living things in your previous class. As you can see in the picture, some objects are showing the movement while some other objects are still. So what does it mean? It means that this picture is providing us one of the difference between living and non-living things, that is movement. So from this picture we can understand that living or things like bird, duck, horse, cat, bee, these can move. So these are living organisms, while the other objects like ball, car, eraser, stone, pen, they are not showing any movement. So these are non-living things. So this is one of the difference. Now we will see some other differences between living and non-living things. So here are some of the differences between living and non-living things. Some of the characteristics like movement, as we have seen, living organisms can move while non-living organisms or things cannot move. Another characteristic is growth. Living things can grow while non-living things cannot grow. Nutrition, it is one of the process through which living organisms take in their food to get energy, but this process is absent in non-living things. Next characteristic is respiration. Respiration is the process through which the complex food material get broken down with the help of the oxygen being taken. So this process is present in living organisms while absent in non-living things. If we are talking about the sensitivity, then the living things are sensitive in nature while non-living things are non-sensitive. The another characteristic is reproduction. Reproduction is the process through which the living organisms can reproduce and produce their own copies, but this process is absent in non-living things. So these are some of the differences between living and non-living things. Now this slide is showing the characteristics of living things. So first characteristics that we will see is the structural organization of living things. Living things have a definite structural organization. The bodies of living things are made up of cells, which are the building block of the body. So here in this figure you are seeing that this is the cell. Cell when combined together they form the tissues. Tissues when combined together they form the organ. The combination of the organ form the organ system, and then whole human body get constituted. Clear? So in the structural organization of the cell we will study about the cells, tissues, organ system, and then the human body. Now the first characteristics of living things is the structural organization. Cell or what? A cell are the basic unit of life. Actually they are the smallest functional units of an organism. A cell is the smallest living structure that is able to function independently. Clear? So we have seen here that cell is the smallest living structure. So when the group of similar cells combine together to perform a particular function, then they form the tissues. For example, humans have muscle tissue, connective tissue, nervous tissues, and others. What are organs? A group of tissues performing a particular function in the body form an organ. So we can define organ, a group of tissues performing particular function. For example, the human heart is an organ with the function of pumping blood around the body. and last is the organ system. So a group of organs performing a specific function is known as organ system. For example, digestive system, respiratory system, etc. Now, on the basis of the number of cells, an organism is divided into two parts. The number one is unicellular organisms and multicellular organisms. We will study what are these. Unicellular organism, an organism whose body consists of single cell. Means what? A body is actually made up of several cells, but some organisms are there whose body is made up of single cell, and that single cell is able to carry out all the basic functions required for carrying out the life of an organism. So such organisms that are made up of single cell are called unicellular organisms. For example, as you can see in the figure, amoeba, paramecium, these are what? These are the unicellular organism. Multicellular organism, an organism whose body consists of multiple cells are called multicellular organisms. Means those organisms which are made up of or whose body consists of several cells is called multicellular organisms. For example, human being, rose plant, or any plant that are multicellular organisms. Now the next characteristics of living things we have seen first, that is the structural organization, and the second one is the movement and response to stimuli. So first we will see what is stimulus. The change in the environment to which the organisms respond are known as stimuli. We can say a change in the immediate environment of an organism which produce a change in the activities of an organism is called stimulus or stimuli. Clear? An organism's reaction to a stimulus is called response. So we can see here in the example, this is the Mimosa pudica. In this plant, that is also known as the touch-me-not plant. So leaves of touch-me-not curl up when touched. So here, touch is the stimulus and curling up of leaves is the response. Clear? And here in this picture, in this plant, you can see the shoot of a plant grows towards the lights and the root grows towards gravity. So here light and gravity are the stimuli and the plant growth is the response. Clear?